Hi, I'm John from Just Whisky. If you like today's show, please give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and consider becoming a Patreon with the link in the description below. And remember, folks, it's Just Whisky. Today we're going to be talking about and reviewing Ledaig 18-year-old. Comes in at 46.3% ABV, non-chill filtered, no color added. It is matured in ex-bourbon casks and then finished in sherry casks. They do not say how long the bourbon maturation is, and they do not say how long the sherry finishing is. Color-wise, this is the 18-year-old compared to the 10-year-old. So you can see there's a significant color difference in this. I bought this bottle in 2020. I couldn't quite decipher the laser code on this, so it's 2020 or possibly 2019, but I think it's probably a 2020 release. Could be 2019. And I noticed, I don't know, there's a black dot on the back of the bottle. I have no idea why that's there. This is a UK release, and this bottle is a 700 milliliter bottle. The current price on this, it's tough to find this in the States, but it's readily available on UK sites. And I think 2 years ago, I think I paid about 70 euro for it, and now you can buy it for about 85 euro, which is still not only a bargain, it's a steal, if you ask me. The main difference between the 18-year-old and the 10-year-old, besides the color, and I love the 10-year-old, but the 10-year-old compared to the 18, you do taste and smell, but you can taste the youthfulness of the 10-year-old. But on its own, the 10-year-old is spectacular. But again, comparing it, you can tell this 18 is a very beautifully well matured dram. It is absolutely delightful. So I would say the Ledaig 10, although it's good quality cask, it's compared to the 18, it's more spirit driven, whereas the 18 is more cask driven, and that sherry finish is prominent in here. Although the sherry, I'm not picking up any of the cocoa notes or chocolate notes that you might usually get with a sherry. On the nose, they describe the nose as being over-ripened apricots. So I've had dried apricots, but I've never had an over-ripened apricot. But I think that's probably accurate, because you're getting dried candy fruits on this, sweet candy fruits, and there's that on the nose, that slight barnyard funk, no sulfur, but a slight little barnyard funk that mixes in with like sweet licorice candied fruits of strawberry and cherry, and I think the overripened apricots would lead into that little funkiness maybe. You also get it's peated, so you get the peat, the smoke, a slight medicinal note. Very inviting nose. Very inviting nose. On the palate. Mm-hmm. This light sweetness just coats the tongue. It's very on the lighter side, but the oiliness is there. Um, a slight mintiness, a slight herbalness to it. The finish, I would say it's a medium finish with a long, light, sweet, peppery, lingering note that goes on for a while. But it's a very beautiful. I don't want to say mellow, but I'm going to say mellow. I wouldn't describe this as intense. I think it's just very delightful. And I mean, I just opened this bottle a couple of weeks ago, and I'm making good work on it. Very good. The only slight nitpick of it, and can we really complain? It's 46.3% ABV, non-chill filtered, no coloring added. I think if this was a little bit higher in ABV, it would give it a little more boldness, but that's a very slight critique, not even a criticism, but a slight critique. The only other problem I have is I'm a Ledaig fanboy, and I've becoming more and more conservative on my scores. When I first started doing this show a year and a half ago, I was a little bit more liberal with some of my scores, not all of them. So the Ledaig 10, I think I rated that previously over a year ago between a 91 and a 93. So how do I rate this? Taking the Ledaig 10 out of the equation completely. Let's pretend I never even reviewed or scored the Ledaig 10. I think this is a beautiful whiskey. Anywhere, I would score this anywhere between an 89 and a 91. Although if you compare it to the Ledaig 10, there is more going on with the 18. Again, that alcohol bite or that alcohol note that might have been in Ledaig 10, which I did not mind at all, is not here. You're not. There's no alcohol burn or acetone, and there's nothing harsh at all going on with this. This is a beautiful whiskey, and for the price, you cannot go wrong. So I'm going to stick with a score of 90, not comparing it to the Ledaig 10. But if someone calls me out on it and says, how come you gave Ledaig 10 a year and a half ago a 91 and 93, and you're scoring this lower? If I had to go back in time and I had this side by side, I would have scored this a point higher. So I would have went more with a 92 to a 94 if I had to compare it. But I think an honest score, not comparing it to the 10, this is a solid 89 to 91, and we'll give it a solid 90. Highly recommend it. It's extremely drinkable. I think anybody could learn to appreciate this as long as they like peated, smoky. But I would say it's more in the heavily peated but lightly smoked. It's very well incorporated. This is a very well intricate, easy for me to say. Integrated. There you go. That's how I would describe it. So we're gonna say this is a solid 90 all day long. And I think it's a hell of a price. You could buy 2 bottles of this on the UK market. So 85 times 2, so for $170, and then maybe you're going to add, if you just bought 2 bottles, you could still probably get $40, believe it or not, to ship it. So you add that to that, and I still think it's one hell of a bargain. So if you like today's show, if you like the review, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe. Consider becoming a Patreon. And remember, it's just whiskey, folks. So hats off to you all, and take care.